Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, and we are live. Yeah, it's 6 a.m. I promise. And it's like I just go, okay, we're going to turn on this light switch. Here we go. Good morning, and welcome to Range Woman, the variety show. I am your host, Lala Angela Wang, and I'm super excited today because I have another fellow woman. Well, she used to be in construction. Maybe we can somehow persuade her to come back. I know there's a little bit of a tingle in her heart every now and then to come back to the industry. But before I introduce our guest today, really, I want to talk about what range woman really meant to me. For me, it's almost like when I talk about that light bulb moment. I had that moment and I wanted to do something because I kept getting clients saying to me, oh, Lala, I can't do that. I can't start a podcast. I can't do that thing that I want to do. I've got too much in my life. And it's almost like that inner rebel in me. I wanted to be that leader that shows my client and just like, hold my beer. I'm going to show you even I can incorporate more into my life. I'm like, okay. So I was talking to my coach. I'm like, I can't do podcasts. I failed the last time. And I just remember Jana saying to me, well, it's different now. You've got me. And I was almost like, oh, yeah, maybe it is my calling. Maybe it is time for me to give it a go. So I set myself a challenge, 30 interviews in 30 days. We are on podcast episode number 24. And guess what? I'm only six more episodes. Can't do math in the morning. Only 6 episodes to go, and we are going to make it. So I am super excited, and really I want today's episode in particularly to be that pivotal moment for you to go, you know what? I can do it too. You know, it's time to stop holding myself back and really just fucking do it. Yep. There's the swear word, 6 o'clock in the morning. And the reason that I said that is because we've got an incredible guest today. Sue, I haven't known her for long, but I know she's incredibly resilient. She's incredibly, just amazing. She has done so much for herself, and she has continuously to reinvent herself and to meet herself at the next level and the next level and the next level. Even just talking to her before the interview, she's like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this next level thing. So I can do more, I can be more. And this lady isn't getting any younger, but her energy is getting higher and higher and higher. And oh my God, like seriously, Sue, before you even come on, this is what I'm about to send to you. She is a pioneer for women in construction. She is also, I'm going to say, a pioneer in studying neuro-linguistic programming in Australia, 1995. And she is just, I'm going to say, she is a bundle of joy and so much fun to be with. And I can't wait to introduce her. So let's just bring her on. Hello, Sue.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Wow. Can I swear too? Let's get it out of the way. It could be worse. We're used to ball scratching. Oh, pardon. Did you ever have that done?
Oh my God. I had a manager who was literally physically like, it's common.
Yes.
And you just have to learn, go like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry everyone, we're just getting straight into it.
Oh yeah, that's the way we roll.
Yeah, it's the job site. But anyway, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I love what you've been doing with all of us, and also just making us all realize just how our different journeys as women as well, Yeah.
I want to ask you, how was life like? Because when you were studying construction management, there were only 3 of you out of 120 men.
Yes, correct.
But I could imagine getting onto a job site, it's the percentage gets even smaller.
Oh, it was, and I think I came across one female electrician, and because she was being treated differently to the boys, and I was getting treated just slightly different because of my managerial position. Oh my God. I mean, I got pushed by her in an elevator. So it was quite horrible that woman to woman at that time. Sometimes we were just told to compete against each other rather than support each other. And then I'm an artist at heart. You can see behind me, like, I paint, I create. I shouldn't have been a builder, but then again, I think it's befitting. The roles find you. And that's been with a lot of the different stuff that I've done. They seem to find me, even though I'm like, no, I'm too scared. I can't do this. And there's been a lot of fear because you just don't know. But you get in there, and through application and hard work, yeah. And I've got to say, I've met some beautiful, friendships with men. Men's mental health is very important to me. And even as a yogi, I've got a lot of masculine energy, which I'm comfortable with, as in to get things done. And understanding that my beautiful husband, who is not emasculated in any way, he's such a strong man, but he cooks for us. And he's just like, I don't know anything about cars. Can I come and sit and gossip with the girls? He's just such a cool dude. So that's what I mean. We both actually understand our energies, and there's a time to be feminine and soft, which is most of the time, because that's what I'm gifted with. But it took a while, because as you probably know, pioneering woman. Oh my gosh, when I heard your skirt story, that was another story. I thought, oh yeah. I thought I was going to be in the office. And then I actually had to get myself out of the office because I could see the job wasn't being done, and I was copying all the bad calls. But yeah, rocking up on this with a skirt, going up a ladder, coming down. Oh well, I had knickers on.
You know what though? Like, I love what you said about the construction industry. For you to be able to do that, you actually earn a lot of respect from the guys. It's when I first
I work, even when I thought I studied more, I had to know more, and even then there was that voice of doubt because you're young. But I grew up on building sites in a sense. My parents, my dad's a tradesman, painter by that way. And as a result, we always used to just, like the Greeks, get in there and help each other. So we were like renovating houses from 8, 9 years of age. See my mum just, chipping off mortar off bricks so she can save money on when we were buying, when they were building our house. I live very frugally though. I live, you'd expect I'm going to have this big, beautiful mansion, but it wasn't the case. But I've had the fortunate ability to understand when the job needs done. Has to get done. That's where I think that's my skill set too. I just get in there. I'm not always tactful. When I've worked with a group of women, when I've then changed and I got into accounting and financial controlling, I've got to say I'm just very in your face. I still think that I'm being nice, but maybe the tone is just like, hey, it's this way or that way, but yes, I'll listen to you. And then it's just like, oh, I think you've been around men too long, like, oh, shivers. Okay, I didn't think that. I always think I'm so kind and compassionate and understanding. So we always learn.
But I think our world has sort of defined kind and compassion wrong. Kind and compassion, I think, has been misunderstood. It's like when you're kind and compassionate, you have to be nice to everybody.
And be a walkover.
I know, that's something I have learned. It's like we don't have enough assertiveness in our society today, and that's what I really believe. And that's when, quite often it's like it doesn't matter what you say, you're going to offend somebody.
Yes.
And that's what I love about construction, really.
Well, yes, and that was one of the things that I learned about my, I had this beautiful mentoring relationship with one of my bosses that I worked for. I used to just always go, new jobs, 8 months, 2 years down the track, I had to keep moving, to keep challenging myself, or I don't know, and the next thing you know, I stayed with this beautiful man called Harry. I won't give his surname away, although it'd be a great thing to plug his business because he's just amazing. And he was from a carpentry background and I was the degree one. And the thing is, though, we were working as project manager, foreman, site supervisor on a lot of prestige homes in the eastern suburbs. So that's when I realised I absolutely love building those beautiful homes with amazing architects for the rich and famous. And they'll remain unnamed, but they were like real exquisite pieces of work and real troubleshooting and problem solving. So you had to be really creative as well as trying to fulfill the vision of what the architects had, because sometimes the architects lack that material know-how. So it was really interesting communication skills. But anyway, Harry said he would hire the men, just thinking because they're men, they must know what they're doing. And I always have to fire them. I was like his girl Friday, 2IC in the company. He'd go away for 2 weeks, 3 times a year, and leave me with all this construction. That's when I realized I was more than capable from the age of, 26 to 32, I guess. So what I'm saying, 24 to 20 to 29, because then I had my own company. But I was going to say, and then I said, I can't even raise my voice. I don't even say that. I can't even swear at them, For them, they could, but the minute you just ask them to do something, you got labeled, you're a bitch or this and that, or, whereas, and there was no laws back then to protect me. There was no laws back then to even like managers, like I'd have older managers that were intimidated because computers came out at that time. So he was just always then knew my game plan. We'd get into a Monday meeting and he'd then gun me down, use my words against me and use my ideas. And I was like, no win. And then the director would say, you've got to do it yourself. I was like, I'm talking to him. I'm one bit but shy of saying, do you really hate me? Like, what have I done wrong? But then you just realize that they're your lessons and these people are your lessons, so you can continue to what's another way of getting around not just a project site, but a person, a difficult personality. As you know, in construction, you come up to like 200 personalities a day, trying to coordinate everything.
So I had with everybody.
Yes, and you've got the creative, then you've also got like, the decorators, you've got the tradies, you've got the government bodies, you've got the clients. So it's quite an incredible thing that we do. And on that note, that's why I don't cook, because I can't project manage that at all, because I'm too tired by the end of the day.
I think so. And that's really interesting. It's not just with my current relationship, but every relationship I've ever dated, guys are like, well, why can't you make decisions when you get home? I'm like, oh my God, do you know how many decisions I have made throughout the day? Like when I come home?
Yes.
No more.
Yes. Oh, totally.
It's actually really draining.
Totally. And some of the jobs, because again, to prove yourself, I don't know if that was the case for you, because I'm actually in awe of all you younger women in the industry. And sometimes I used to feel like, wow, why wasn't I able, because there was no equal parity. I was always getting a third. But sorry, to go back to what Harry said. So then I'd have to fire these guys. Sorry, I just realized I didn't finish that strand. Yeah. So, and then I'd have to fire them, or I'd have to get in there and work twice as hard to fix up all their mistakes. So, and then I said, they hate me. And he goes, if they hate you, you're doing a great job. Horrible when you're a very sensitive soul, though, but that's what they say. It's like, well, why can't we just be managers and leaders and, and still be nice, rather than having to, like, we have to mother them and talk to them a certain tone. And that's what teenagers are for down the track. Oh, God, that's another thing.
I'm really seeing a change in the industry. Even when I first started 15 years ago, it was still really that macho mentality. And I remember, I still tell the story till today. My manager told me to put some steel cap boots on. Right? It's because I started in a contract role where we have to negotiate contract. We have to tell subcontractors what to do. And imagine, I'm not only like almost 5 foot. I'm short.
The same. I think I might be an inch taller than you.
You're a bit taller than me. And like me being short and Asian going onto a construction site, and they weren't even, the high-vis that we wear, they're not even the same, the size for me. Yes. I'm always wearing ones too big, right?
Well, when you mentioned shoes, I had to go into an army surplus store. And thank goodness there must have been some young Anzac, or, with a small foot, because I couldn't find any shoes, steel cap shoes. So I totally understand your dilemma. Sorry, go back to your story.
And literally, we were told to put on your steel cap boot, kick some butt, and if they don't like you, you're doing well.
Yeah.
But now it's so much more about, talking to people like people, respect. There's a lot more about team environment. So the construction has softened a little. And I think it's a lot more welcoming in terms of the environment for female.
And I think also, so after I had my children, I went back into it, because I just thought, oh my gosh, because it was quite traumatic how I lost my company as well. It wasn't just me. I had a male business partner as well. And it was during the HIH collapse. I don't know if you know that. That used to be the main insurer for homeowners warranty. Yeah. They were getting into the history of things, and that's why I love history so much. But what I was going to say is at the time it crippled, and that's when suicide started to become prevalent in men as well, because all of a sudden these tradies who have been working and know what to do since they were like 14 years of age, if not younger, from from European countries as well and Asian countries and whatever, then they'd come out here, and then all of a sudden they've been building successfully for like 20-30 years with a handshake. And now all of a sudden everything is like, you've got to have everything signed off. You can't take a person's word anymore. The contract was my strength too, contract administration. It was just like, that's the rule. Doesn't matter if they look like they like you. And that's what happened. My business partner used to get the higher jobs, was paid 4 times the amount. So we just assumed he must have been better. And then at the end I thought, no, my litigious field of people's personal homes with people that can afford to sue you was different. And it was just a rule. So we had someone that knew how to play the game, how to continue to look like they're paying you but not approve variations. And then anyway, we had legal courts for 3 years. We were already signed up. So our own, like my husband, his wife, we basically had to sign everything over, because that's what homeowners warranty was at the time. And that's quite debilitating when you're already a female and you already feel like, all right, did I not succeed because I'm a boof? But it's circumstances and forgiving yourself and realizing, no, it's happened to him as well. Okay, that was your strong part. And then we realized, and we won the point, never saw the money, so we still had to pay out the subcontractors and all that. It was a real roller coaster. And I thought I was never going to get into it again because I was in fetal position for a few days. I can't remember reading The Power of Now. I actually thought I didn't like it, but then I saw every second page was dog-eared, and this book, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. It literally does. But anyway, cut a long story short, I guess what I'm trying to finish off with that sentiment is I did go back into construction after I had my children. And now at this stage, I'm in my mid-30s, and I had started my yoga journey as well. But all I found was like, wow, the confidence level of finally understanding when you are in charge of making sure 3 little kids are not going to die in your watch. And they don't come with a manual either. I mean, job sites are easier. At least you've got plans and schedules and finishes. So this is like, where's the manual? What do I do? So what I was going to say is when I went back into it, and I was fortunate to be associated with Anytime Fitness. So, and then I was just cranking them up. Like, I had one client that even let me just manage his construction managers off-site. Like I was here, they were in Tamworth. He goes, because you just know the stuff inside out. And that's when you start to gain your confidence again and realize, hang on, I've now got respect for myself. And not that I didn't, but like, as in, I know now what I need to be treated like. I'm another human as you are. And I know life is tough, and we're on the same team to get this job finished so we can all get paid. So how about we can cooperate rather than, But there's this. The mentality changes whether they're young or old. You couldn't always tell. You know what I mean? You can't pick it. But the ones that were harder to sort of, have rapport with, I actually loved them the most. They taught me so much.
But also, once you get that report, they are your biggest fans.
Yeah, when they finally realized, because I remember I was 32 at the time, and I had a construction, I was project managing a job, and there was this man that is in his 40s. He's probably my age, like what I am now, and, mid 40s. And he was just like, he thought I was 26 because I always looked younger as well. And so I was like, okay. And because I was there, I got on site once, and structural steel is supposed to be, say, 2.2 meters for a particular kitchen setting. And I looked at it, I thought, that's not it. Short ass that I am too. I was still able to say, that doesn't look right. It looks too short. And he goes, oh, no, it's not. It's right. I said, pull out a measure, please. And it was 1.6 meters. So I was so right. We were so short. And the people that we were building for were giant family, or like 6 foot. I'm like, this is not going to go down. But after that, I said, why are you always like not coming up to site meetings when I ask you to? I'm coming from the Central Coast and spending 2 hours on the road, and it could be raining. I'm always putting my life at risk, and you're not turning up for meetings. What's the deal? And after that happened, he goes, I thought that you were too young. And when he found out I was 32 rather than 26, what he thought, he's like, I just thought you were this young punk trying to tell me what to do. He goes, but now I can see that you know what you're doing and talking about. So again, even appearances, 3-second rules, and people make up their mind and don't judge a book by the cover. So yeah, it's been a real journey.
So how did this journey then become a journey of a yogi?
Yeah, because of a breakdown. And breakdowns are great because, as we know, breakdowns are breakthroughs.
That's it.
So, yeah, when I was 26, plus also there was a lot of trauma just growing up as well. My parents were hardworking. I was quite sheltered. Like we've got extended families as Greeks, but at the same time, my mum was very protective of who we hung out with. Couldn't have friends come over. I never went to a McDonald's birthday party or anything like that, or a sleepover. As a result, I was able to hone in and find out that I had this gift to be able to paint and create. And see things differently. And I was a very optimistic person, though. And my mum loved the theatre. She used to take us to at least theatre, and we were allowed to Greek dance. So we used to do folklore dancing outside. Yeah, for Carnival, we were always on TV in the Stedfords. She would, she was a tailor, and she would actually make, 3 kids these beautiful costumes worth $300 each at the time, and with beading and everything. And she was proud to see us just perform. So performance helped me overcome a lot of shyness. And then also because it was very male dominated. My mum had it really tough, I've got to say, in her own society. My dad had an industrial accident and was in hospital for 8 months. And so Dad was away when I was like 5 years of age, and my brother was three and a half. My mum had a lot of trauma, actually, like even learning to drive. She got called by her community like a modern woman, which was not actually a good thing. It was like trying to put her down, but she's like, this is necessity, and now I've got to go and work. And my mum had balls, mate, I'll tell you that much. And now I just realised, she really kept it together. And as a result of the patriarchal thumb, and I don't mean that badly, I just want to say that, she taught us. And she didn't have the patience sometimes. So anyway, there was a lot of stuff that we had to overcome. But I don't mind sharing that. So what I was going to say, being a sensitive child and then seeing what was happening and all this sort of stuff, I had a breakdown at 26 years of age because of the work, like as in construction. It was like 24/7. And I found from an office job, because I was too scared to give you the risk, like I'd be interviewed 200 people, it was mainly guys. I'd get to the top 2, it was, 80, and then 2, it was me and this guy. Then they go for the guy and my self-esteem would drop because they just thought, but we just don't know how you're going to be in this climate. Then they'd regret it, and then they'd call me back. But by this time I was in a shitty job because I was like, and then build myself back up again. So I had an anxiety attack actually at 19, which was like an epileptic fit at university, in a restaurant actually. And they pulled me across and I thought I was having a heart attack, and they took me to the medical center. And that's when you just keep holding everything down, the beach ball down. So that's when I realized I might be on the surface. I was the happiest person, even at morning, like, at uni or at work. They'd be like, why are you so happy and you don't drink coffee? I still don't drink coffee. I'm just happy to be out of the house and meet people, and socialize, I'm getting a life. And mind you, I've had leadership roles. I was school captain in year 6. I was vice president of the student council in year 11 and a prefect in year 12. So I think because of my enthusiasm, I wanted to know people. So and I guess where do I head with that? I guess the work, yourself catches up with you, your sensitivities catch up with you, and there's only so much that you can do before you hide. And so I had a breakdown when I moved out of home, and Greek girls are not supposed to move out of home, and I did, out of wedlock as well. And when you finally find that peace, so at 19 years was my first psychiatrist, and what was more effective was the massage therapist, the relaxation therapist, so learning techniques to relax your muscles and whatever. And then, because you're young, you just get over it really quickly, and you're just like, oh, whatever, I'm out of here, I'm fine now again, off we go again, this natural optimism. But then again, it's cyclical. It catches up with you if you haven't addressed those issues. And so at 26, I had a full one because work, all of a sudden what I could manage and was always really good at, and excelled at and worked my butt off, and was managing these, $4 million homes and things like that. I'm just like, what's wrong? And it was a physical reaction. I'm driving from Helensvale to Carama, which was like an hour and 20-minute drive every day to and from one of these job sites. And then one day I actually went from Carama all the way out to Willoughby and Wahroonga, and come all the way back and then go to the eastern suburbs to get rid of all my sites. So it's like 12, 13-hour driving.
North of Sydney, down to northern.
Thank you. Yes.
North Sydney, and then down to the eastern suburbs. So we're talking about drives.
Major, like driver fatigue. It was at one stage I had 20 minutes left to go. I rang up my partner, who's now my husband. I was just like, I can't freaking drive home anymore. I am going to have an accident. And I almost did many times, because you're up from 4 o'clock in the morning on barges to do seaforth jobs, you know, to get the materials across. So I was like a boy. I thought in my head I had to be like a boy. And then, you know, and then burn the candle, because by that stage, you know, you still also wanted to, you had all the paperwork and the contract stuff. So up till 10:30 at night. And then when I had the breakdown, it was because there was no support. I didn't know how to ask for help, because my family had made us all so independent. You don't ask for help, you just do yourself. And you're scared to. You think you're going to lose your job, the imposter syndrome, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, that's what happened. My decline in my own health. And then my partner loved me, and he had an uncle suicide, and he doesn't mind me saying this because I believe he sort of guides our relationship from a perspective of respecting mental health energies. And I thought of him and my parents, and I thought, you know, I was just about to do something drastic. And then my aunt pulled me out, and I just thought, this guy's innocently washing the dishes out there. I can't control this physiological thing. And then he's also telling me, I love you, but I've been through this before, but you need help. I thought I could save you, but I can't. So it was real honesty and support. And that's when I had a beautiful 2-year relationship with my psychiatrist. I didn't do anything with him. I was like, you know, he educated me.
Yeah.
He was also introducing a lot of yoga stuff. He was also doing a lot of things about St. Francis of Assisi. So, because I've got a very religious background. And I think when you think of the real good of the parables and the stories of any religions, you can't go wrong. And then he was introducing me to relaxation techniques, and I did the work. I did the diet, because then I was overeating, and I started to binge, and I started to put on weight, because, you know, construction life is not easy. 9 o'clock, you've got pies and sausage rolls, and, you know, back then. And God,
no, it still happens.
Yeah, and it's okay, but you got to say, oh, you know, they're on the tools at least. Sometimes, most of the times, we're not on the tools, and we're like, oh yeah, you know, thank God I don't drink beer either. But you know, give me Contro and whoa. But yeah, so no, it was just you know, and so then that reevaluation. Then my dad was sick, chronically ill for a year and a bit, and so there was that as well. But I still had to keep my job happening and be his main, like, part of his hospital carer in that respect. And anyway, it's been a beautiful learning curve, and I started my construction business. You make the worst decisions when you're going through trauma and grief, but because you're looking for something to give you the next buzz or the next high or the next challenge. And so, and what I've learned throughout all these dips and highs, because then, you know, again, I react rather than taking time to be able. So what I'm saying, though, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your journey is quite colourful, and it teaches you where you need to be. And so I sought the help, and then from there I thought, wow, I've got the tools, and, you know, I got discharged. It doesn't get any worse when your psychiatrist falls asleep on you. And that's a funny story and a true story. But I say that because many people, you know, it's quite a long process. People don't have the tolerance. I lost a lot of friends trying to keep my shit together. And so for me, being able to now tell other people it's okay. And so he was also teaching me NLP back then, and kinesiology, which was almost like witchcraft back then. You know, yes, you're right, like 94, 95. Even me, I was like, what's tapping? You know, like, oh my God, I do it all the time now. You know? But it's funny how these incredible science, like if you look at it from a yoga perspective, that has survived 5,000 years. And then if you look at the religion side, whatever indoctrination you believe in, it's all woven in together somehow. And there is a beautiful quantum physics science to it, that it all makes sense. And now I'm glad that the world's awakening. I'm not saying you've got to meditate. I don't have time for that. I do vinyasa yoga instead. But, you know, I do meditate. But what I'm saying, though, is used to be this perception that you've got to meditate hours on end. We don't have that luxury. We live in this material world, but we have to keep creating change and looking after ourselves and self-care.
I think
so
it's
yoga.
About, yeah.
I fell into it, not back then. I did do a few classes and I loved it, but then time and distance and affordability didn't afford that. And it wasn't until I had my third child. So I had twins, and they were high risk pregnancies, and it was drama, 2 months preemies. And then I had another child, like, you know, my third, my most challenging, beautiful girl. So they're 12 and 15 now in ages. But what I was going to say is after postnatal depression, when you've already had depression, is quite a high risk. So I went through that. And then through that again, but by this stage, I had a strong sense, even with all the training and NLP and all that sort of stuff and all the work, you forget is what I was going to say. You forget that you've got tools. We've got the tools, but we're just distracted. This other beautiful yogi says that, and it's just so true. So it's just a constant reminder, self-care is important. I need to eat right. I need to sleep right. I need to get, moving right. That's just from the physical level of what I can control. Then we can control our thoughts. And the yoga just was an extension that physically I started to feel great instead of Mother Hubbard and thinking my career's over at 34 years of age, right? And 36 years of age. But then it was this huge journey. And then my teacher, because he saw I was devoted for, 3-4 years, Manu, I just absolutely adore him for my love that was ignited for yoga. And he goes, here's a scholarship, you've got to learn how to do this. And I'm like, what? I want to learn. And I think this is great to help people with issues like psychiatric issues or psychological issues. And I always wanted to be in with doctors and that, because I just thought, wow, if people just knew how to move their body and energy and understand it, then, we'd be looking a lot better. Not just physically, but mentally. And so I trained as a teacher, not thinking I was going to use it. I also retrained as, when I lost money. So I went and I'm going to learn how to continue to keep my money. And so I did bookkeeping, accounting, and was going to do CPA. And I thought, this is really not for me. I'm great with numbers, but come on, this is killing me. But, you choose your roles to suit around your family. Sometimes I feel like maybe I should have been more successful compared to some incredible, beautiful friends. I've got a list of range women for you, But at the end of the day, you've got to be happy with what you've got. My husband's a great person of gratitude, and yoga has also taught me to see things in a different way. So that's all. And beautiful. Yes.
So beautiful. Now I want to talk about your real name.
My real name.
And also how that's linked to being a connector.
Thank you. Yes, I sort of see my role. Sometimes I used to get frustrated. I was telling you earlier, I'm frustrated. I think I'm a connector. I can socially see and see people's visions, and then I go, I've got the resources now because I've done this, that, everything, because I've done like from events management to, social photography and storybooks to, oh God, you name it, I've done it. I'm just like, oh, so optimistic. I can do that. I don't know what I'm doing, but I can do that. I'm good at researching. Off you go. Once you build a house, you can do anything. You know that. Once you build a story or you do a construction, you can do anything. I can do anything. I just don't have enough time. I'm gonna. But yeah. So then my name. So with this journey of yoga teaching, I've been practicing for 12 years now, pretty much daily, almost daily. And then I've been teaching for 7 years, and I used to do 17 classes. And I had a yoga studio as well. But I could not get to the next level because of all this, there's always some sort of cloud that you need to keep overriding. Otherwise I'd be dead. If I was that enlightened, I wouldn't be here. I'd be, So
you'd be Buddha.
That's it. Yeah, I'd be Buddha, of course. I was going to say Jesus, but I didn't want to say that. But yeah, totally. But, I'm going to read out a quote right now. It's on happiness. It says, when one's spiritual needs are met by an untroubled inner life, happiness comes when your work and words are a benefit to yourself and others. Now, that's this little plaque that I've got here to remind myself. When you are true to yourself and you find it's okay to explore, it's okay to feel that you haven't missed the bus. Because even 3 years ago, I got connected to my own social construct and thinking, oh my God, I'm old now. I should have done this 20 years ago. And I'm serious. I went through another dip, and that's how I met you at your future now, because I was like, you forget. So anyway, with the yoga, my name is Sevasti, really. That's the Greek pronunciation. I've been born and bred here to migrant parents, but what happened is they shortened everything. So from Sevastula, they got Sula, Dula. I can't stand that name. I've got my cousins have got that name. It suits them, but it just doesn't suit me. And so I would always from 12 years of age when I got to high school, it's Sue, please, shorten it to Sue. And then I find out on my birth certificate, my real name is Sevasti. And I knew that, and from my christening, and my grandmother. So my grandmother was like a white witch. She was like 94 years of age when she passed. And then my mum's maternal grandmother, who I loved unconditionally, and she loved me and loved all of us actually unconditionally. She's beautiful. She's my yogi guru. She's never done yoga. She lived to 100 years of age. And it's just because she embodies the yamas and the niyamas, or the 10 tenets, or whatever you want to call it, the 10 commandments, whatever you want to call it, of self-care, caring for others, kindness and compassion. So anyway, my name, we're at yoga teacher training with one of my friends, Michelle, who we did training with, and she got given a scholarship to. And she's like, Manu, why are you calling Sue? Why do you have a pet name for her? Why do you have a Sanskrit pet name for her? Because he was calling me by my real name. Because when I filled out all the applications and why do I want to do this now? Because even though he was given a scholarship, he still had to write a whole 2-page essay of why, you know, to see if you're keen and interested and, you know, where your values are. And so it was like Sevasti is my name. And he goes, Sevasti, that's beautiful. I said, thank you. And he goes, you know, the first 4 letters, Seva, S-E-V-A, means to serve. And I said, wow, because respect, Sevasti means respect. Sevasti means respecting Greek. So that's what my business logo is for my yoga. I don't really call it a business though, but I've got to stop thinking that. But so Sevasti Yoga, breathe with Sevasti Yoga, and it means here to serve with respect. So I absolutely loved it. But poor Michelle's sitting there thinking that he's giving me this little, like, you know, Sanskrit nickname. And
especially your real name.
And then I showed him, I love it, that's my name. On all my legal documents, that's what it is. And so people on site as well, when at one stage there was 2 Sues in the office, she was in accounts and I was in construction. And so the lady was quite, you know, the wife of this company was like, you know, let's use your name. It's so beautiful. And she had Greek heritage. And so we tried it, but people like, like it's so easy, S-E-V-A-S-T-I. Now it's cool to have really funky, odd-looking names. Back then, 30 years ago.
Why do you have to make my life difficult?
Yeah, it had to be Sue. People didn't know if I was a Mr. or a Mrs. or, you know. But that's my name. And now I sign my artworks always. I've got just, you know, my signature is just Sevasti. There's no surname. I did that from when I was 12 years of age, not to discredit my husband's surname or anything. It was just like, I'm never changing this. This is who I am. So, yeah, it's nice to finally embrace that. Thank you for asking.
Well, I also love that you actually had won quite a few awards for your artwork.
Yeah. I had my heyday. I was promising. I did when I was 18. So when I was 17, actually, because I didn't finish till I was 18. But, you know, like every year from year 8, that's when I realized, like, you know, the teacher goes, here, pick a person. And I chose Bob Geldof because I loved his humanity and I loved the Boomtown Rats back then. I don't like Mondays, you know, who doesn't know that? And I just thought at the time, he's a really interesting person because charity is important to me. One thing I have to admit about all the Greeks is, like, you know, and my grandparents and my mum, my grandmother and my aunties, like, you know, generosity is just something that comes. And like my great-grandmother was known in the village as being so kind-hearted, like would literally give you the thing. But there's also, you've got to learn how to harness that as well. And that's something that I had to learn. You know, I'd be starving, giving everyone my lunch and they'd be like, oh my God, you know, that's what I mean. You've got to also be wise about it. And I was not wise. I was extreme, one or the other. And this week's theme for yoga is based on Tao, like Tao, T-A-O, Tao, which is all about the yin and yang. That's why I love your card that came up today, synchronicity. But it's about when you're an extreme person, having to find that when the pendulum is centered, that's when you get your most work done, when you are centered. Where'd I go with that? What was the question again?
Artwork.
What was that?
Your artwork.
Oh, the artwork. Yeah. So I had a picture of him. I sat there and it took 2 weeks and I sat there and my sister's 6 years older than me. She's brilliant. She's helped me so much. She's taught me how to be a leader. I always wanted to be her. She was a great artist. She was great at languages. And she doesn't realize just how much I look up to her. She taught me about the village people. So I got my colourful life from them as well, you know, because all my friends are gay and lesbian and queer. But so my artworks, I've then realized I can do lifelike drawings. It was like a photograph, and, you know, you get to school and then everyone's is like cartoon versions and, you know, not to be disrespectful. And there was only this other girl and me, and we just looked at each other, ours look real, like real. Yeah. And she's like, okay, we'll give you an animal to do. So we have to choose an animal. And I love tigers, so I chose a tiger. And again, the tiger's like, okay, first time lucky, and second time. So I've still got that piece. I've done.
Interesting.
Okay.
Did you have a dream about a tiger before we came on?
Next to a tiger. My husband was purring like a tiger this morning, and I was just like, I've got to sleep, mate. He doesn't snore much, but every so often it's just a little. Oh my God.
Hey, Sue, talk about synchronicity. I had a message for you. Look up the animal meaning of a tiger.
I will.
Yeah, I think that's for you.
Yeah, thank you. pep voice. Thank you. Yeah, and then from there it continues. So every year when they would give the art award and they give the maths award and whatever, and I did 3-unit art, 3-unit Greek, 3-unit maths, because that's the thing. My art teacher was like, you're a funny one. She goes, how can you do art and you can do maths? But that's how I see things. And anyway, so
oh my god, I got a friend in you. I got a friend in you.
yeah, of course.
I did all the math subjects, accounting, and I did music and graphics design.
I love that. See? Oh, I love that. Of course, we've got a friend in each other, of course, because, I found that interesting in your book. And I thought, oh, my gosh, this girl's like my life, So many more chats to come, which I'm so grateful for. But, yeah, and that's what I love. I think because they work really hand in hand. And now that we're realizing in this day and age about balance and how conducive the arts are, which is sad that we're cutting them off the curriculum, especially during COVID. We actually need that. That's what links us as humans, the spirit. So, and we still need that analytical, but it's, quantum physics, I still can't, I failed physics. So don't ask me how I got through my my construction
I didn't
degree.
even do physics.
3% for architecture. It was a prerequisite. I was like, oh, stuff this is going to bring my weighted average down. I'm done. And then, structures in uni was hard. But, and then I kept getting the art award, except for year 11, because they decided, new head teacher. So she keeps getting it all the time. Such and such's mother is an artist, and she took us out and to see it. We'll give it to her daughter. And I was just like, again, drop in, confidence, but also determination. My art teacher said, stay in your lane. That's what I keep doing. That's what I say to people now. Like when I see women comparing themselves to other women, but I wish I could still do extra charity, or I wish I could run a business, or I wish I could do that. And I just turn around and say, no, look at the gifts that you have. I'm lucky. Yes, we lost a lot of money and we lost a lot of, whatever it is. I still don't know what I'm doing business-wise. I dabble here, there, everywhere. Jack of all trades, master of none. But at the end of the day, I've got a beautiful partner that has stuck with me through thin and thin, and I respect that, and I work on that, and I nurture that, and garden that, and water that. And then with the kids, their well-being, and that's all I'm saying. My connection to people is more important. So that's what it is. Sometimes we have to pull our heads in and just realize, what are we grateful for, rather than what's not happening in our lives. And then eventually we come and we unblock those things, and we're able to start to move forward again, And then with the art award, so I've got determination, stay in my own lane. That's what I do, stay in my own lane. There's better, flexible yogis. There's better this and that. There's better construction managers. There's younger construction managers earning more money, or whatever it is. But whatever it is that's blocking you, whatever it is that you want to do, if you do it and you do it with passion, you do it with, the respect it deserves, then you haven't failed, is what I'm saying. You haven't failed. So that's been my own learning curve as well. So I did, and the next thing my artwork's got, because no one's judging this now. It's not an internal school that's judging it anymore. Art Express is judged by, multitude of the top 1% of the state I got for art. So I got an award for that coming back. My artwork's got into Art Express. And my artworks for that particular year, and the only time that happened, is 50 works got reselected from the 150 that were traveling around Australia to go to New York. So the works went to New York, to the Manhattan. Yeah, George Bush at the time did the opening as well. And now they're in a permanent collection. The Department of Education, William Wilkins, they bought them. So I had that, and then at the time I had a, but I was so naive. I was never allowed out, so and I didn't want to disappoint my parents. My mum would never say that's good. She didn't want to encourage something that she thought was going to make me be a street door-to-door salesperson selling artwork. I know. I'm sure you can relate. I know from our cultures, they're thinking.
What could you do? Door-to-door salesperson selling art?
Oh my God. And I'm thinking, I missed the boat. If I had taken my art scholarship and gone to, to all the universities, I would have been in web designing right now. I would have been like, kick-assing in graphics and that, I can see the vision. They couldn't see the vision, but back then I didn't have the guts to say no to, and no one knew, there was no one else to really guide you or mentor you. But anyway, shit happens.
I love how it brings you back a full circle, though. It's almost like you've moved away from your creativity a little bit into construction, and almost like your gift is what saved you. And that's just from what I could see from reading your story. It's like it's coming back to your life. You bring it to a full circle, and now you've got this creative and beautiful combination of your yoga, your art, and your logic.
Yeah, and
really.
you're
And
being
I
a
think
lot
it's
more.
beautiful.
And also respect to culture, respect to what
Mm.
happened, my mum's thinking mentality, or I got involved with the gay community. Like, I got invited to do a float, and my mum was homophobic at the time, and my best friend, who's gay, is the godfather of my twins. So she's overcome her own, and I really take my hat off. Like, I was not an easy child, because it wasn't that I was trying to be rebellious. I just thought, but this is my life too, and I've only got
No,
one
I
life.
think you challenged the
taught me
status
so
quo.
well. But you taught me so well, and back then too. So, like, I'm a huge advocate for them to, same-sex marriage and that, I really am. It's all about equality, because once you have been discriminated from, even a female perspective, trust me, you want everyone to have the same rights that other people take for granted,
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's not to be even with education, I was always protesting and rallying, because when you see injustice, you just want to do the best. So I'm all about fairness. So that's it. And as a result, optimism, I was always like somehow pushed into getting the job done. So leadership roles. I don't always feel like a leader, and now, but now I also realize it's just when you come from a place of the right place, like when I teach yoga, that's my connection to people. I could do it for free and it doesn't bother me, because, I don't get paid a lot, and that's why I don't have the yoga studio anymore, because I do live in this material world, and I've got 3 young kids, and, I've got mortgages and that. But what I was going to say though is I still try to compromise. We still are not excessive. I love secondhand shopping. I guess I'm trying to say there's more to life than whatever. Doesn't mean that you still can't have the good things. Of course you can. I'd rather go on a holiday and experience that, with family and friends and good dinners, and that's what makes me kick. And study. I love to study all the time. So investing in education. But otherwise, yeah. So look, it's I went back. So my breakthrough at 26, 27, 28. And then I got married, then had kids. So, life continued to give me all these real huge down and back up and back down and back up. There was moments I just thought, I can't keep doing this, but you can. And then you got to then, and don't lose your optimism in that, and seek help. And also divine timing. I believe in that, and trusting yourself, and then trusting your things around you. Like, I've never really been a huge person about angels, because I'm logical. I'm maths as well as spiritual. I do sense things, but sometimes it's taken me a long time to give me the proof, even though I've seen some incredible things happen, like miracles. It's like it's slapping you in the face and you still can't see it. Like, wake up.
You're like, where's the proof? Give me the proof.
I want proof. I want more proof. What do you mean Dr. Joe Dispenza reworked his whole spine? Like, what? But anything's possible. And I do believe that now. I really do believe that. And yoga taught me that as well. But within your own, the gift will come when you're ready. So my gift is going to come. It's still coming. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I feel it too now. Yeah. And thank you for, bringing me to this point as well. Like, so I was like,
but I really think it's there. Like, I think it's finding that perfect combination. It's almost like when you're creating a magic formula. And I think you've got the component of that magic formula now. And what I'm really seeing is that, it's, when you create something, let's take essential oil, for example. I create my own blend. It's getting the right combination of how many drop of something.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's about getting that drop formula right. And I think we're all learning. We're constantly adjusting the drops.
Yes.
And I think you've got it. Like, how many men, I remember you telling me men love going to your yoga classes.
Oh, and I love it too. And they say, and and I would have a wall of these tall, beautiful boys, young and old. And I was like, I can't even break the barrier to go see the other people in the other rows pre-COVID, and same thing. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And, and I'd be the same. And I'd be like, I'm short, pudgy. I've got boobs and hips. I don't look like this ever tall, goddess-like yogi, but I can strike a pose. And I say to everyone, look, I've got a strong core if I do my crow pose and whatever. I said, I might have a tummy because I love my food, but it's strong, and so do you, like, just don't give up on yourself. I think that's what I love.
And it rhymes too.
Yes, but it's just like, I think that's what I learned after when I started to do the physical yoga practice. As I started to realize after having 3 kids too, and we're thinking, oh my God, that's it, I'm dead, I'm done, dusted, I'm going to be middle aged now, and poor Greek mothers would come into my head, the martyrs, and I've had a lot of role models, but then I just thought to myself, no, you can still choose to do things differently. And when I started to physically learn how to breathe again, and then give yourself space, and then the wisdoms that the teachers would throw in. So I'm all about quotes. So I was going to say at 26 with the breakdown, I then went back to do what does Sue want? Yes, I could run a whole Mardi Gras parade. I started to do costumes for friends and makeup and that. So I showed my creativity in other ways. And then I also did, then I got into, I went back and I studied colour consulting and interior decorating and styling and art, to my diploma in visual arts. So it was a compromise rather than going back to uni again, because I can sort of see I'm not going to be Picasso, but let's just do this. So what I was going to say is then fulfilled the emotional need that I needed and the spiritual need to fill up the tank. And then that opened up other portals. Like I'm doing women's houses like in the eastern suburbs. They didn't know how to put colour schemes together. And I just felt like I didn't need the piece of paper, but I felt like I needed it. So it enhanced my building degree. So you find adjacent spaces. And then the yoga was just something purely, I don't know, I needed it. I was at the gym. And then within 3 weeks, once a week, my husband's like, you've changed, girl. Mentally, you can just see this bubble of, the darkness was just evaporating. You've changed. I was like, yeah, I'm getting stronger too. You should see my arms. It wasn't about the physical, but I loved the mental shift. And then, of course, like I said, I did go back down, then I was strong again. I always seek help. I always look for mentors. I always look for spiritual advisors as well. And also sense and a beautiful quotes and books. I was going to say that's a really good one. I've got to plug that one.
What is it called?
The Untethered Soul. I'm not sure how do I.
Yeah, no, I've got it. The Untethered Soul
by Michael A. Singer. So I've been doing a chapter. There's 19 chapters. We're up to chapter 18. So 18 weeks we've been covering a chapter a week at yoga. So you get like a book club with my yoga class. And then The Alchemist is really good if you are just
that's one of my favorites.
Anything by Paolo, Osho. Anyway, there's just things that you need to remind yourself and do the work.
Well, Sue, we can talk all day.
I know, I've spoken so much. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be at all. This is your platform. Talk away.
Thank you.
Very quick question, and this is one that's very close to my heart. And we talked about this before we jump on. December is always a big month for me. It was the month I discovered how high the suicide rate is in construction, and it's always been a place and a topic that's so close to my heart. The reason I published my book, the reason that I decided to become a coach. And really the reason being, I think December is extremely stressful for everybody, but particularly in construction, that's normally when the deadline happens.
Yes.
That's when we had a really long year, like this year, for example, with COVID, and everyone is just really at that tipping point. And December is also the month where there's traditionally a very high suicide rate. And I just have this feeling this year is going to be extremely tough, especially in places like Melbourne, where they just came out of lockdown. There's talk about there's not going to be Christmas break. We're going to try and work 7 days to catch up with all the things that we fell behind. What is your top 3 advice, just very quickly, that you can give to anybody, really, not just have to be in construction? 3 quick things that you could do each day to just bring you to that center point.
For me, the most thing is like just even shut your eyes down, pretend that you're taking a long blink, for a couple of minutes a day, like every so often, like when it's getting too much and overwhelming. And, maybe for me, it's the ocean. So I always think of the ocean and visualize the ocean to breathe in and breathe out. So making sure during this, because I hear what you're saying, October used to always be migraine season because you've got to get everything done before Christmas and everyone's pushing. So the fact that they now want to do that, we've got people that are unemployed. Maybe they should open up and employ more people would be a solution, but then you've got to skill them up. So I understand the dilemma. So I would say their sleep is important right now, but they might be feeling highly anxious, trying to, I would say it's definitely closing your eyes for 10 minutes. I did this when I was working around the loop. I would put my phone on for 10 minutes. Like I would literally put the alarm on for 10 minutes and I would lie down anywhere, didn't matter, in my car, didn't care, or on a job site. If they can understand everyone's under the same pressure and you need to make sure that your mate is not going to suffer or cause an accident because they're going to fall asleep, or, you know, their mind's elsewhere because they're stressed out, then I think, you know, if you're able to just support each other, to take 10 minutes to just slow down. You're not going to have a nap. Some people do, some people don't. I'm not an easy napper, but I just said just sitting there and just listening to my breath, slowing down, and just giving yourself 10 minutes space. You'll be amazed how much it's going to refresh you, that you'll be able to get another 4 hours in of intense work, whether it's manual or physical or mental or both. So that's one thing, the breathing, because when we're stressed out, we breathe from the top.
Shallow.
We have to breathe and learn, but not people are willing to stop even and breathe. So shut up, I want to hit you. I don't want to do that. But you've got to learn how to, look, you know, your body starts to relax. Nothing else you can do. Maybe
Shut up, I want to hit you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my kids. If you tell me to breathe one more time.
I don't have time to breathe, even though it's going to kill me.
I know. And I was the same. But you know what? You do. And you need to also walk away for 10 minutes. It might be to sleep. It might be to eat. It might be just to clear your head and come back, because you will end up fighting and having an issue. So if you can somehow nourish yourself with water, sleep, try to lessen the toxins, because obviously you want a lot more, like you want to drink a lot more when this is happening and eat a lot more. But look, it's easier said than done. And I was going to say, and sometimes if you have to sneak in an extra Mars bar or something, then freaking do it. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself permission to just be as well. You know, it doesn't have to be about, oh, they said to do this. Yes, but you know what works for you. It could be just a cup of tea. It could be, you know, just 5 minutes, stare out into space or somewhere, you know, nature, recharge, and then come back. You know, 5 minutes is not going to kill you, you know, but it could be your life saving.
It's going to make you so much more productive. And like you said, it's going to be that thing that saves you.
Yeah. And I know men don't talk a lot, because that's where we're, you know, we've got that commonality. And I just think the more that we're able to, you know, sometimes I've copped a lot of shit just to make people feel comfortable that they can talk to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even with the
it's
tone
like,
and whatever, you know, look, I know I'm just too happy for you or something, or like, okay, you can read them. Shit's about to hit the fan, isn't it? Yeah. All right, then let's just laugh about it. What else can we do? If we can somehow get them out of that pattern of thinking, oh, I'm stuck, give them something funny to laugh about, so they can break that cycle of thinking. And then you can say, okay, they breathed, they took a breath in and out. You know? I wish I had more to expand on that, because it's really hard to three things straight away, because each person's so different and unique. So
but
it
doesn't have to be that hard, I think. And that was a great answer. It's that simple, right?
I'm blinking.
Yeah, right. What are you doing? I'm blinking. Just make sure you're not on site. Just make sure you're in a safe location. Yeah. You're not at the edge of your scaffold
or something.
You're not holding a power tool that's plugged in and it's on.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? I remember seeing a man being traumatized on a job site because, you know what, the same thing. Christmas, the craziness, he had extra responsibilities to even pick up the boss's kids from school and this and that. And when you know that someone, and maybe this is something, because, you know, I'm not in corporate much anymore, you know, as in I work from home type of thing. But in my other job, but what I was going to say is maybe it's people like yourselves in organizations. Listen, we all know that we have to get the job done. Can you just be mindful to rotate it? Can you be mindful when this person's put in extra more work than someone else? Give them the day off, you know, insist upon it. You know, I think managers are very open to that these days too, because we're finally waking up.
Yeah, which is so good. Like Saturday's now rotational for us.
Perfect.
You've even got Robert Petrardi, which is one of the boutique tier ones. They don't work on Saturday anymore, and I think our industry really needs to introduce a lot more of that, so we can all have a bit more work-life balance.
Well, are they going to, because the industry usually shuts down for 2 months, like, or just about 4 weeks, you know, during Christmas time.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's usually the hard part is trying to get to Christmas without getting killed, you know, in one way or another. This year
is a little bit different, I think, because of COVID, and depending on which state you're in, it could be slightly different. Like I said, Melbourne, they're talking about there may not be actual shutdown for Christmas. And in Sydney, we're shutting down from the 24th to the 4th. So 2 weeks.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's still not enough. I hear what you're saying.
Not after when you have a tough year. It's really a lot.
No, and it's a lot too, because you actually need more time after that Christmas period, because the preparations and the festivities and the amount of traffic. You
Oh,
know
you
what I
would
mean? It's
know.
not really. I do. Oh my God, I do.
Yeah.
So I really do. And maybe it's time, like, we can contract to you guys if maybe just also looking externally for more help. That's what I was going to say. But yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I really feel for them every time I see it. Like I said, I'm all woman. I love women. I love men. I respect my relationships, the nurturing with women. But they're just hard eggs to crack sometimes, men, that shell, because of all the conditioning. And we don't want to produce, it's not about producing soft people.
No.
It's just big, just wiser. And there's nothing wrong with soft. There's nothing wrong with, that's another thing, macho has just got to, I don't know. You can still be
I think there's
strong.
time and place. There's time and place. Just like how there's ebbs flows in life, there's ebbs and flows in our emotions and how we handle things.
Yeah. Well, I wish them all the best. I really do, because I feel for them, because I know what it's like. I really do. I really do. And maybe more time afterwards, if they get through that period and hopefully survive. But yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Well, Sue, thank you so much for today. There's so much wisdom, and I love, love, love your story. I know we'll catch up soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Thank you.
Angela.
And
really
thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, tonight, we've got an interview. Hey!